Failure is an option, but giving up should never be an option. Imagine a child learning how to walk. They take a shaky first step, stumble, and fall. They try again, one step, then two, and fall once more. But here's something powerful. The thought of giving up never enters their little mind. To them, falling is natural, a part of the process. That child doesn't think, maybe walking isn't for me. No, they fall, cry, laugh, and try again. And eventually, they walk, then run. Then explore the world. Now let me ask you, when did we, as adults, lose that courage? When did we start confusing failure with defeat? My friend, this video was made just for you. If you've been feeling stuck, if you've faced setbacks that made you question yourself, or if you've been silently carrying the weight of disappointments, today, we're going to rewrite that story. Welcome to Knowledge Hub Factory, where we turn challenges into wisdom and struggles into strength. And today, we are going deep into one of the most important truths of life. Failure is an option, but giving up must never be. Because here's the reality. Every single person you admire, from inventors to leaders, from athletes to artists, has stumbled, failed, and fallen. The difference is not that they avoided failure, it's that they refused to let failure be the final chapter of their story. Over the next few minutes, I'll take you on a journey. We'll explore why failure is not something to fear, but something to embrace. We'll look at stories of people who were knocked down by life but refused to stay down. And we'll uncover practical steps you can take today to rise stronger every time life tests you. So, take a deep breath. This is your moment. Let's dive in. Understanding failure. Let's start with the basics. What does failure actually mean? Failure, at its core, is nothing more than an outcome that didn't meet our expectations. That's it. It's not a definition of who you are. It's not a permanent label. It's simply feedback, life's way of saying, try again, but differently. Think about Thomas Edison. When asked about the countless failed attempts before inventing the light bulb, he famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." What does that tell us? That failure was never his enemy. It was his teacher. Yet, in our daily lives, we're conditioned to see failure as shameful. In school, a bad grade is a failure. In business, a loss is failure. In relationships, rejection is failure. But what if we reframed it? What if we saw every failed attempt as progress? Proof that we're trying, proof that we're alive, proof that we're moving closer to where we're meant to be. Let's make it personal. Maybe you applied for a job and didn't get it. Maybe you launched a small business and it collapsed. Maybe you invested time in a relationship and it broke apart. The sting of those moments is real, I know. But let's also be honest. Didn't you learn something? Didn't you discover strength you didn't know you had? Didn't you find clarity on what not to do next time? Here's a story. J.K. Rowling, the author of Harry Potter, was a single mother living on welfare when she wrote her first book. Do you know how many publishers rejected her? 12. 12 doors slammed in her face. If she had believed failure was the end, millions of children and adults would never have known the magic of Hogwarts. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of wisdom. At Knowledge Hub Factory, we believe failure should absolutely be an option, because it means you dared to try. What should never be an option, however, is giving up. The struggles and misconceptions. Now let's talk about the struggles and misconceptions that surround failure. One of the biggest lies we are told is that successful people have it all figured out, that they move from one achievement to another effortlessly. That's simply not true. What we don't see are the countless hours of doubt, rejection, and stumbling that shaped their journey. Here's the truth. Failure hurts. It shakes your confidence. It makes you question your worth. And it's okay to feel that. Too often, motivational talks pretend you should just ignore the pain. But let me tell you, acknowledge it. Feel it. Because pain is not weakness. Pain is proof that you're invested in something meaningful. Another misconception is that failure defines you. People say, he's a failure, or she failed. But let's be clear, failing at something does not make you a failure. It makes you human. Let me share a powerful example. Michael Jordan, often considered the greatest basketball player of all time, was cut from his high school basketball team. Imagine that. Today, stadiums chant his name, but at one point, he wasn't good enough. If he had given up back then, the world would never have seen his greatness. Here's another. Walt Disney was fired from a newspaper job because he lacked imagination. The man who went on to create the most imaginative empire in entertainment history was once told he wasn't creative enough. So here's the challenge for you. Stop believing the misconception that failure is fatal. Instead, believe this. Failure is the soil from which growth blossoms. Yes, you will struggle. Yes, you will face rejection. Yes, there will be nights you'll cry, mornings you'll doubt yourself, and moments where giving up feels easier than going on. But those very moments are your turning points. If you keep going, they become the chapters of your victory story. Practical solutions and strategies. Now, let's shift from inspiration to action. How can you practically face failure without letting it break you? Reframe failure. The first step is mindset. Instead of asking, "Why did I fail?" ask, "What did I learn?" This small shift changes everything. Failure stops being a dead end and becomes a detour. Set small, consistent goals. Don't try to leap mountains in a single day. Focus on climbing one step at a time. Success is built on daily, consistent actions. Write that page, make that call, save that dollar, go for that run. Tiny efforts compound into massive results. Build resilience. Through habits, train yourself to get back up quickly. When something doesn't work, write down 3 lessons immediately. When doubt creeps in, remind yourself of past victories. Keep a journal of your progress. You'll be surprised how far you've come. Surround yourself with the right people. Failure feels heavier when you're surrounded by negativity. Find people who uplift you, who remind you of your strengths when you forget them. Community builds resilience. Study the greats. Every successful person you admire has a story of failure. Learn from them. Oprah was fired from her first job as a TV anchor. Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, the company he co-founded. They didn't stop. They came back stronger. Remember this. Persistence beats talent when talent refuses to persist. So today, commit to these steps. When you fall, don't. See it as the end. See it as the beginning of your comeback. So here we are, at the end of this journey together. Let's pause and reflect. We started with the image of a child learning to walk, falling, stumbling, but never giving up. We talked about how failure is not the enemy. It's the teacher. We explored the misconceptions that hold us back and saw how legends like Jordan, Rowling, Disney, and Edison turned setbacks into stepping stones. And we uncovered practical tools to help you rise after every fall. Now it's your turn. Think of the failure that's been haunting you, the dream that didn't work out, the plan that collapsed, the rejection that stung. Hold it in your heart for a moment. And now, decide. Will this failure define you, or will it refine you? Remember, failure is an option, because trying and failing means you had the courage to step out. But giving up, that is not an option. Not now, not ever. At Knowledge Hub Factory, we believe you are capable of far more than you realize. The fact that you're still here, Listening means you're hungry for growth, and that hunger is your superpower. So, rise. Try again. Take the next step. Fall, if you must, but rise again. Because the world doesn't need perfection. It needs your persistence, your courage, your story. Before you go, I want to invite you. If this message touched you, if it sparked even a small fire in your heart, subscribe to Knowledge Hub Factory. Join this family of dreamers and doers. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, because together, we rise stronger. And let me leave you with this. Failure may visit you, but defeat only enters if you invite it. Stumble if you must, but never, ever stop moving forward. The nerve is the heartbeat of success. That is the legacy you're meant to create. Keep going, my friend. Your story is just getting started.